All right. Hello. Welcome to episode, I believe, 5 of E.M.O, Eric Mitchell Opinions. I'm not going to check because I don't want to waste time. I haven't recorded an episode in over a month. And honestly, a lot of it's been like procrastination, but it's like less so procrastination, more so like, I don't know. It's like you get into this habit of like being on top of like doing things, and then you fall off, and then it's just like it feels easier to just not do it than to do it. But this episode, I don't really know if I have a topic in mind. Probably I just got back from hanging out with my girlfriend's family. We were talking a lot about like, because a lot of people in her family have ADHD. I have ADHD, and we were just talking about like imposter syndrome and like authenticity and the need for authenticity with ADHD. And it's just really interesting and like really like nice conversation to have. I know like with me, uh, I get really bad imposter syndrome where it's like I know I'm good at what I do, especially like in music. Like I know I'm a good producer. I know I'm a really good rapper, but it's like I get really in my head. And I know I'm like charismatic, funny, all that stuff, but I get really in my head about just like when I fall off. It's like, oh, I was never really that good, you know. And it's like I get back in the habit, and I find the passion again. Like even now, just like I don't know if this video is actually gonna go up or if I'm just gonna keep it on my computer as like practice. But like, I kind of had to push myself to like even be willing to just like set the camera up, even if it was just gonna be for practice. Like in my head, I was like, no one can see this, not even me. It can't exist at all. Um, but I feel like with ADHD, a lot of it gives you so much self doubt in what you can do because you're so used to like people treating you like you're kind of some kind of fuck up and screw up. When like it really it's interesting. Like ADHD is like such an interesting diagnosis to have because it's like there are parts of it that I genuinely love. I love the creativity. I love like the fact that I'm in my 30s and I still have like a lot of really like childlike imagination, childlike energy. Um, it's a double edged sword, but I do love the like really intense um, feeling of like justice and fairness. Um, it sucks when you live in a very unfair world in a very unfair country, but it is like it does feel like a really good like guiding light in a way. But then there's like also the negative parts of it where it's like it's really hard to focus on things that you're not super interested in, or it's really hard to like give yourself grace. One thing we were talking about too is just like over analyzing and overthinking. And I do love that. I think when it comes to like having ADHD, a lot of times you become very introspective in a way. You kind of have to be because you're constantly being put down for your attention, and so like you start wondering like what's wrong with me. Like as a kid I thought that a lot of time, like what's wrong with me, why can't I focus? And so you become very introspective in a way. And so like it's it's a negative and it's a positive because when you're introspective, it does give you a more full viewing of yourself and also a more full viewing of the world around you. And I love that. I love the fact that like I'm not just living life on autopilot. Like I get very invested into things. I'm not just into what everyone else is into because everyone's into it. I'm into my stuff because it's my stuff and it's the stuff that I like. But then it gets hard because it's like you overanalyze and you overthink and you get in your own head to the point where it's like everything is up here and nothing is in the real world. You know, it's like you plan too much, and that's one of the really hard things that I've had to come to grips with. Where it's like you can't plan everything. You just have to sometimes just throw it out there. You know, like when it comes to like music would be my example. I would always like write my tracks out meticulously before I'd even record. And so I became a great writer, but I was terrible at recording because like I would do all my writing, do all my editing before I'd even like touch the microphone. And now what I started doing is like I'll have like 4 bars written down, and then I'll just like throw on the beat, start recording, and it's like I'll just play with that, play with different melodies, play with like the way I want the flow to sound, and that actually helps with the writing because, you know, people aren't going to hear the writing, people are going to hear the recording. So the planning the planning actually hinders it in a way. Like if you plan too much, it hinders the final product because like you you want people are going to hear the song. People aren't going to hear the notebook you wrote on, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. This is very what would the term be? Very spur of the moment kind of thing. I didn't really plan this out. I actually had an idea for my E.M.O video that had nothing to do with like ADHD or anything like that, but it's like that was what's on my mind, and that was also one of the main reasons why I hadn't really been like recording anything. But I just released a snippet. It's not even a snippet really. It's really just like I'm posting like short form songs on social media, just kind of like get a buzz, build stuff up more. And so, you know, I've been planning. I've been planning for a long time how to come back, how to really start like the push to like get myself out there. And so now that we're all in that cycle where the planning is over, and now we're pushing, you know, I've been practicing, working on music and stuff like that. And so like the planning's over, basically. Um, yeah, so I don't know. I don't really know what this is, but I'm kind of glad I made it still because I've been in my head a lot about what am I going to do with E.M.O. And I don't what I would love to do. I don't think I'll really have the time to because I do still have like a full-time job, but one thing I really would love to do is like make this like a daily vlog kind of thing. We'll see. I do want to do this at least like once or twice a week though, for sure. But yeah. Usually I try to like leave some kind of lesson with these things, but I'm not your fucking dad, bro. um, or your mom, you know. I'm learning the same way you are, man. It's like ADHD is a bitch. It's cool. It's a bitch too. So do what you can, because that's what I'm doing. I'm doing what I can.